Hi, my name is Christie Stewart, and today I'm going to be reading the prologue from my sonnet sequence entitled Harwich. Poem number 1. As light began to fade, a breeze arose within the trees, a susurrating sigh, which promised peace, and yet, as night came nigh, and birds their final chorus did compose, there crept into the woods, amongst all those not yet asleep, a sense of dread, whereby each one its singing halted in reply, except the raucous cautions of the crows. Light's final fingers drew back from the trees, with shadows creeping forward in their place. The crimson sun completed its descent, and slipped beyond sight's farthest boundaries. All else was darkness in that shrouded space, but two bright eyes on retribution bent. Poem number 2. Not even nightly crickets made a sound, alert to the peculiar atmosphere. Nocturnal creatures kept themselves to ground, aware that something aberrant was near. The silent spell was shattered by a scream, cut short as quickly as it had begun, and scuffling in the brush. Was it a dream? Uncertainty until another one. Foreboding quiet to the woods returned, as all who there resided held their breath. Essential to survival, they had learned that to be noticed sometimes led to death. A third, much longer shriek than pierced the air, the killer's final victim in despair. Poem number 3. Next morning's sun brought children out to play, with bats and balls upon the playground lot, whose parents had assured they'd all been taught the woods were somewhere they must never stray. It was a dog who chose not to obey, for this perceptive canine early caught the scent of fetid flesh begun to rot, and nothing they could do kept him at bay. They followed only to the woodland edge, but there they glimpsed the object of his quest. In haste the hound returned, his paws with stains. The children, scared but strong, still kept their pledge. The eldest one then ran at group behest to notify adults they'd found remains. Poem number 4. Police, just one at first, but quickly more. Photographers and scene of crime who draped their lurid yellow do-not-cross decor as if what lay within could have escaped. In masks and gloves and covered shoes they stalked, collecting specks and dabs for lab review. An otherworldly hush, they seldom talked, reflected what each dreaded, but all knew. 3 bodies, shells of bashed and bloodied bone. The first 2, hares, although the third who died was human, now beside a numbered cone to mark their fate until identified. Few other traces had been left behind, the perpetrator's handiwork unsigned. Poem number 5. Throughout the tight-knit town the word spread fast, and many soon began to congregate, with hands on mouths, some crying, all aghast. Each hoped and feared the news that might await. The children all sat quiet by home plate, reality beginning to take hold. A counselor was brought to help abate their terror, now beginning to unfold. Word then was whispered. Someone had been told. Police received an urgent call to say a carnival hand, just 25 years old, was thought to be the victim of foul play. When older townfolk learned of the attack, they murmured to themselves, "It's her. She's back."